This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Ex-FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried comes clean, says he did not have regulatory approval for Bahamian withdrawals. The Works Minister says Village Road to be mostly finished by the end of the year. And in our interview today, we are speaking with the new ambassador from Ukraine to the Bahamas. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. And this is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Also this morning in Morning Blend Business, we are going to be talking about switching to a plant-based lifestyle. The do's and the don'ts, what you need to know. And opportunities, business opportunities in that market. And later, we are going to get a preview of a compilation of short films. It's going to be held this week, the event. One Experience, 5 short films. We will talk with the organizer this morning. A lot to get to on this Wednesday, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, as his company was being put into liquidation in the Bahamas and before he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the U.S., former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried says he decided to prioritize Bahamian withdrawals from his cryptocurrency exchange because, quote, you do not want to be in the country with a lot of angry people in it. However, FTX previously tweeted that it did it per Bahamian regulators. In an interview after the move, which caused a massive uproar, he admitted that he had no such permission. FTX suspended international withdrawals on November 10th, the same day all of its assets in the Bahamas were frozen by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, and a provisional liquidator was appointed by the Supreme Court. Later that day, FTX tweeted that with the permission of Bahamian regulators, it would facilitate the withdrawal of Bahamian funds. In a November 16th interview with Tiffany Fong, a YouTube personality, Bankman-Fried said that he gave them, SCB, a heads up, a one-day heads up that they were going to do it. He said, quote, they didn't say yes or no, they didn't respond, and they did it. The reason I did it was critical to the exchange being able to have a future because that's where I am right now, and you do not want to be in the country with a lot of angry people in it. You do not want your company to be incorporated in a country with a lot of angry people in it. So it was realistically speaking expletive, he said. But the pathway forward for FTX involved Bahamians not being pissed with it. His words. On November 10th, FTX tweeted that per Bahamian headquarter regulation and regulators, it had begun the facilitation of withdrawals of Bahamian funds, and that some withdrawals processed by FTX recently were being observed. The tweet also said that the amounts withdrawn comprise a small fraction of the assets we currently hold on hand, and we are actively working on additional routes to enable withdrawals for the rest of the database. The Securities Commission fired back, though, saying it never gave FTX any authorization for withdrawals, and that the Commission advised that it had not authorized this to take place, and further noted that such transactions may be characterized as voidable preferences under the insolvency regime and consequently result in clawing back funds from Bahamian customers. While noting that it has resumed its salaries for employees and certain foreign contractors, FTX saying this week that payments will not apply to employees or contractors of Bahamas-based FTX Digital Markets. FTX CEO John J. Ray III saying in a release that with the court's approval of the first-day motions and the work being done on global cash management, FTX was assuming ordinary course cash payments of salaries and benefits to remaining employees around the world. He said that FTX was making cash payments to selected non-U.S. vendors and service providers where necessary to preserve business operations subject to the limits approved by the bankruptcy court. In other news, Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sayre says that work on the Village Road Improvement Project should be substantially completed by the end of December, despite Office of the Prime Minister Press Secretary Clint Watson indicating last week that the work would be completed by December 12th. Sayre says that he thinks the work is progressing well. He said Water and Sewage Corporation has had to do some additional work in terms of water mains, and that he's met with utility companies so that they can have a coordinated strategy. Meanwhile, the Water and Sewage Corporation working aggressively to address supply issues in Eleuthera. Sayre's again saying that it was a matter of deep concern that he wanted to apologize to Eleuthera residents. He says there's been a number of disruptions with the desalination plant that is out for design. Sayre said the corporation had ordered 2 storage tanks that have a capacity of 1 million imperial gallons each. He said they are being manufactured and will be available by mid-2023. Overseas, a Taliban official says at least 10 students have been killed when a bomb blast hit a religious school in northern Afghanistan. The interior minister is saying that several others were wounded in the blast at the madrasa in Aibak, a capital of the northern Samangan province. There's no immediate claim of responsibility, but the Afghan affiliate of the Islamic State group has been waging a campaign of violence that escalated since the Taliban took power in August 2021. IS has carried out bombings targeting in particular the Afghanistan's Shiite Muslim minority, but has also targeted Sunni mosques and madrasas, especially ones connected to the Taliban. The Taliban and the Islamic State group both adhere to a hardline ideology but are bitter rivals. And China's ruling Communist Party has vowed to resolutely crack down on infiltration and sabotage activities by hostile forces. Their words. This following the largest street demonstrations in decades, staged by citizens fed up with the strict anti-virus restrictions. The statement from the Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission released late Tuesday comes amid a massive show of force by security forces to deter a recurrence of protests that broke out over the weekend in Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, and several other cities. While it did not immediately address the protests, the statement serves as a reminder of the party's determination to enforce its rule. Hundreds of SUVs, vans, and armored vehicles with flashing lights were parked along city streets today, while police and paramilitary forces conducted random ID checks and searched people's mobile phones for photos, banned apps, or other potential evidence that they'd taken part in demonstrations. The number of people who've been detained at the demonstrations and in follow-up police actions is not known. In sports, the Bahamian national boxing team recently traveled to the Sugarbird Boxing World Boxing Council tournament over the weekend, returning with 6 medals, 2 gold and 4 silver. The team, which consisted of 5 members, including 3 from Grand Bahama, exceeding all expectations. Veteran amateur boxer Carl Heel led the way with a gold and a silver. You can read all about it in today's Guardian Sports section. From World Cup football action, the United States getting a win over Iran, 1-0. And from golf, Tiger Woods painting an uncertain picture about how much golf he can play, saying that, quote, "I don't have much left in this leg." He also doesn't have much hope for the PGA Tour and the Saudi-funded rival league, that they can get along unless Greg Norman is out as Leave Golf's leader. Woods artfully skirted around other questions Tuesday here in the Bahamas, such as details on 2 unexpected surgeries he had last year and whether the 20-man field of the Hero World Challenge should be getting points toward the world ranking. Woods is at Albany Golf Club, strictly as a tournament host. For the event taking place this week, he had to withdraw on Monday because of plantar fasciitis in his right foot, and that makes it too difficult to walk over 72 holes, even on a relatively flat course for a holiday event. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a weakening frontal boundary across the central Bahamas that's going to gradually dissipate today while generating occasional cloudiness and showers across the area. Breezy conditions will continue over the islands due to high pressure north of the area. We're seeing some very rainy conditions right now in New Providence, and beachgoers should be alert due to the risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches and Atlantic exposed shorelines. There's also a marginal threat for water spouts, mainly along the dissipating frontal boundary today. For today, for the Northwest Bahamas, your forecast calls for variably cloudy and breezy conditions. Chance of a brief shower today after the storms this morning. Breezy and mild tonight with a passing shower or 2 possible. Small craft operators should exercise caution. Winds east-northeast to east-southeast at 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 knots tonight. Seas 3 to 5 feet, but building to 4 to 6 feet tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny and breezy, with isolated to scattered showers, turning mainly fair tonight. Small craft operators should exercise caution as well. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots and gusty at times. Seas 4 to 7 feet. Temperatures right now in Nassau, 77 degrees. Showers, as we said, in many parts of New Providence. Highs today getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook and look at the tropics on this final day of the Atlantic hurricane season. Coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by the Chickcharney Challenge. Morning Blend Weather Check brought to you by the Chickcharney Challenge. The country's premier obstacle course run is back this December 3rd at Clifton Heritage Park. Run, jump, climb, and claw your way to the finish. The Chickcharney Challenge, The Return. Sign up today at chickcharneychirin.com or call 428-8915 today. The Chickcharney Challenge.
How important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
We're good for you.
What if I told you that the future is here? That is not some magical door we walk through, but a place we create. It's home. The place where you can download a 2-hour movie in seconds and stay connected to loved ones even when far from home. Where internet moves at lightning speeds, smoother and more reliable than anything you've ever seen. This future-proof technology can take you to worlds that you can only imagine. The future is here. The future is home. The future is Alive Fiber.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I am Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Doing well.
Excellent.
You've got a long-running streak of appearances on this show.
Yes, the longest.
This is my good Lord.
It's a record now.
10, 12 days in a row.
It's a record now.
Wow. I mean, you might as well just take over.
I am tired.
We'll give you a little rest after today. But thank you again. Yeah, we have a lot to get to this morning. It's going to be a busy morning for us. Coming up, we are looking forward to this, an interview with the ambassador from Ukraine to the Bahamas. And that's going to be interesting, coming up in our 8 o'clock hour.
Never heard of that position. Is that new?
I believe it is. So we'll find out. We'll find out this morning. But, of course, there's a lot going on with Ukraine. We're going to find out from him. I'm not going to say his name right now because I don't want to mispronounce it.
Smart.
Or should I make an attempt? I did go online to hear, but you remember that happened to me before. I went online to hear how another ambassador, how her name was pronounced.
Right.
And the
And
whole
you did,
interview
yeah.
pronouncing it that way.
Yeah.
And at the end she tells me, by the way, it's like, oh, man. But
You should take a stab at it.
okay, first part is easy. Sergey, that's easy. Kislitsia.
That sounds like a good attempt. to
Sergey
me.
Kislitsia. I believe that's how his name is pronounced. I heard
A
others.
fair attempt.
Yes. So he's going to tell us for sure this morning. That's coming up. Then in our 9 o'clock hour, I've been on this journey for about a year and a half now. It's been quite an interesting ride. Plant-based with some interesting results.
So you're a vegetarian,
Yeah.
not a vegan.
No. I can't do that one.
Okay.
No. But vegetarian, I've been introducing a little more fish. So pescatarian, and I never stopped at eggs.
Right.
A little bit of dairy. Little bit. So
So you're a vegetarian, but you dabble
in fish.
in fish.
Right. So we're going to be talking about that. Making a switch to a plant-based lifestyle. There's so many reasons to do it, not just health reasons, but for the environment as well. And we're going to talk about that and with some experts and opportunities as well. Business opportunities for this. This is growing slowly, but growing
Where?
here.
Oh.
There are more plant-based operations popping up and options.
You mean local operations?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as opposed to
Offering in general.
well, both. Sure.
The food stores
Yeah, man. They
got a lot
yeah,
of stuff.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, right? And we're going to talk about all of that and whether some of this is stuff you should actually avoid because it's processed.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that with our experts from Seedlings Place today. Later in business, we're going to be talking about a compilation of short films. It's going to be showing this week. We'll get details about that as well. So a lot to get to on this Wednesday. But let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, by the way, it was stormy this morning. It is lots of rain, heavy rain, and flooded streets across New Providence. So keep that in mind if you haven't left the house yet. It is quite something out there. So, yeah, we've got a frontal system impacting the weather. So keep that in mind as you make your way out today. All right, so the big headline in the Nassau Guardian, ex-FTS CEO comes clean. Bankman-Fried says he did not have regulatory approval for Bahamian withdrawals. Okay. All right. So our Travis Cartwright Carroll is writing about this in today's Nassau Guardian. He writes, as his company was being put into liquidation in the Bahamas and before he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the U.S., former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried said he decided to prioritize Bahamian withdrawals from his cryptocurrency exchange because, quote, you do not want to be in the country with a lot of angry people in it. However, FTX previously tweeted that it had done so with the approval of Bahamian regulators. In an interview after the move, which caused a massive uproar, he admitted he had no such permission. FTX suspended international withdrawals on November 10th. The same day, all of its assets in the Bahamas were frozen by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, and a provisional liquidator was appointed by the Supreme Court. Later that day, FTX tweeted that with the permission of Bahamian regulators, it would facilitate the withdrawal of Bahamian funds. In a November 16th interview with Tiffany Fong, a YouTube personality, you got to look her up, please, to see what this was. YouTube personality. That's
Tiffany Fong.
That's your like on your business card. YouTube personality. Okay. Bankman-Fried said, quote, I gave them, as CB, the Securities Commission, a heads up, a one-day heads up that we were going to do it. They didn't say yes or no. They didn't respond, and then we did it. The reason I did it was critical to the exchange being able to have a future because that's where I am right now. And you do not want to be in the country with a lot of angry people in it. You do not want your company to be incorporated in a country with a lot of angry people in it. So it was realistically speaking, he uses an expletive here. The S word.
It uses a lot of expletives.
Yes. But the pathway forward for FTX involved Bahamians not being, and then uses a word that we're not really supposed to say on the air. I'm going to edit it to say ticked with it. On November 10th, FTX tweeted, quote, per our Bahamian headquarters regulation and regulators, we've begun to facilitate withdrawals of Bahamian funds. As such, you may have seen some withdrawals processed by FTX recently as we complied with regulators. The amounts withdrawn comprise a small fraction of the assets we currently hold on hand, and we're actively working on additional routes to enable withdrawals for the rest of our database. We're also actively investigating what we can and should do across the world. Now, that prompted the Securities Commission to fire back, saying, quote, saying that it never gave FTX any authorization for withdrawals. It said, quote, the Commission wishes to advise that it has not directed, authorized, or suggested to FTX Digital Markets Limited the prioritization of withdrawals for Bahamian clients. The Commission further notes that such transactions may be characterized as voidable preferences under the insolvency regime and consequently result in clawing back funds from Bahamian customers. In any event, the Commission does not condone the preferential treatment of any investor or client of FTX Digital Markets Limited or otherwise. Shortly after FTX's November 10th tweet, panicked FTX users took to Twitter and any other avenue they could to convince Bahamian users to facilitate the withdrawal of their funds. One user on Twitter said, quote, any FTX employees willing to change my account's country of residence to Bahamas to facilitate withdrawal, I am offering $1 million and unlimited legal fees. DM me, serious inquiries only. Heard of anybody who took the bait?
Nope.
Oh, okay. You think they would admit if they did?
Nope.
At 4:30 a.m. on November 11th, Bankman-Fried filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection and resigned as CEO. He told Fong, did you find anything about Fong yet?
She's very popular.
That as he said before, that he told Fong, as he has said before, that wishes he did not. What now? Oh, he wishes he did not file for bankruptcy protection. Okay. The company collapsed following a run on the bank. All right, so the rest of that we know what's going on there. All right, so interesting. So, yeah, well, all right. Any word yet? I have been a little out of it over the past couple of weeks on Bahamians, if any Bahamians were, what impact this has had on investors, if there were any direct Bahamian investors? Any numbers at all?
I know I know that there are some Bahamian investors who are impacted. There are some Bahamian brokers who have clients who are invested, who have been fighting for their clients. I've heard more about those type of people than people who actually invested. People might be holding that information close to their chest at the moment. But SBF has been saying a lot of crazy things.
Almost every day, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to know that with a lot of these pronouncements, why he's not been arrested.
Mm-hmm. And what would be the charges, or what likely what would be?
Well, I mean,
Fraud.
Fraud would be the top thing, one would think. But in some of these new stories, he's been saying, he wish he had more regulatory oversight. He wish he had within his company a risk manager, which seems like it should be standard.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are you operating an exchange without that?
Just by the seat of your pants, winging it.
All very strange.
Yeah. Well.
All very strange.
Well, and there's also another story in the paper today about this. I'm not going to dwell on this for too long today, but FTX.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, because FTX US gets approval to pay employees.
Oh, my good source is saying also contempt of court because he would have violated the SCB's order that
Right.
stopped him from doing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Well. So yeah, FTX US gets approval to pay employees, but FTX Bahamas excluded. Our Jasper Ward writing about that, while noting that it has resumed its salaries for employees and certain foreign contractors. FTX said on Monday that payments will not apply to employees of or contractors of Bahamas-based FTX digital markets. FTX CEO John J. Ray III saying in a release that with the court's approval of their first-day motions and the work being done on global cash management, he was pleased to announce that FTX Group was resuming ordinary course cash payments of salaries and benefits to remaining employees around the world. FTX making cash payments to selected non-U.S. vendors and service providers where necessary to preserve business operations. But with the Bahamas, FTX said that the relief included cash payments with respect to both pre-petition and post-petition periods, which are subject to limits for payment of pre-petition amounts established by the words of the bankruptcy court. It said the FTX Group will pay vendors and service. The relief applies in the Bahamas only to employees or contractors of the FTX debtors and not to employees or contractors of FTX Digital Markets. FTX-DM Bahamas is the subject of a separate liquidation proceeding in the Bahamas and not included in or protected by the Chapter 11 cases in the United States. Any idea how many employees they have here?
Here?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. All right. So it's unfolding drama there with FTX. So let's take this call really quickly. Again, we don't want to harp on this too long today. This is just
Every day.
Crazy story. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, and thank you so much for taking my call. Look, I'm a day trader, and I would like to ask Mr. Bankman one question. On which other server, whether it's on one of Elon Musk's server on the satellite, did he have another sell stop order? Let me explain it to you. Let's suppose you have $2 billion. You want to risk a quarter of that to make $4 billion. So what you do is you have a stop loss at, say, 500,000 or whatever figure you want to lose if you don't go up. Now, what he could also do on another server, have a sell order waiting to catch it if it drops. That way he still is in profit because that actual stop loss becomes a sell order as it drops. Now, he, knowing him, would have had a server running somewhere else, another exchange, to catch that drop. Ask him what limit order and where it is that he had it, because that's where the money is. All right? He caught the drop.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I could explain that to you in more detail, but I know, knowing him, because he was looking at popular exchanges. He can't go to China in some parts right now. And he was actually able to look at all the exchanges, see the price, and in one exchange it might be low, one it might be high. So he buy it on one exchange and sell it on the other. That's how he made his money initially. So he knows how to do that. Ask him what limit order he had in place and on which server, and that's where the money is, all right?
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Did you understand anything?
No.
All right. So you're not telling us about Tiffany Fong, man. Who's Tiffany Fong?
She just seems to be some big online news person.
I'm looking at her
Individual.
Twitter account. It
And,
says crypto,
she's-
hashtag Bitcoin since 2011, FTX and Celsius scoops. Great.
She seems, I don't know, she seems anti-crypto to me.
Okay. Let's read some messages and then we're going to move on. This person says, does this make any sense? He says he told the Securities Commission that he was going to allow clients to remove money before he did it. He said the SCB didn't say yes and didn't say no. They did nothing. Then the SCB made a show of freezing assets after he removed the money. Does any of this make sense? Make this regulatory body make sense to anybody? That's an interesting point. Now he says he did that. Did he do that? Right? We don't know. That's what he says he did. Who did he send the message to? Would it have been someone who could have made a decision? Did they send the message on to the people who could make a decision? So just because you say you did that doesn't mean that you did, especially knowing what we see now about the place. So whose word are you going to take here? That's the question. But
he sent a Slack to somebody to send it to somebody.
All right, some WhatsApp to some random number.
It wasn't a WhatsApp, it's a Slack.
I don't know what that is. Speak English around me, please, Justin DeRobards. What's that? Is that some
Slack is one of those new...
Like TikTok now?
No, it's
TikTok
like
is old.
Slack is like this internal message board kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. That's exactly what he did.
A new way to communicate with your team is what it says.
Please don't.
It's faster, better organized, and more secure.
Then what?
It's Slack.
Why would you use the word Slack? That's the worst word you could ever use. Slack? Spelled the same way?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is dumb. Just call it dumb. Let me send a dumb to you. All right, whatever. I wish you had not told me that. I don't have enough brain cells to absorb these things. Anyway, the person says, the day SCB tweeted, I miscalculated. Sorry. SBF. So Sam Bankman-Fried tweeted, I miscalculated the margins. I just remember Juan McCartney saying where was the risk manager, literally knowing nothing else about the story at that time. I'm still asking the question, where was the Securities Commission oversight between November 2021 and November 2022? Okay. This one says here, people keep talking about how investors were affected by FTX liquidation. Bahamian employees have been deeply impacted. Yes, it seems so. It'll be good to hear from them. I'm sure they won't be speaking, though. But I still don't know the numbers. But
Bahamian employers?
Employees.
Employees.
Yeah, well.
Nobody's talking except to foreign journalists.
Yeah, well.
We love to talk to foreign journalists.
Not the employees, though. They're talking?
Some of them off the record.
Okay. This person says that the new FTX CEO is saying, nah. All employees in the Bahamas ain't getting nothing. I don't think that's what he's doing, but okay. This person says here, okay, well.
FTX US.
Yeah. Nobody does, but sure. Okay. We're going to leave that there. Yeah, we'll continue to follow this and see what's what. It'll be good to hear from the Securities Commission after this to see if they did indeed get a message and why they didn't respond. But of course, we don't know if we believe what SBF says anymore. But he says, yeah. And why didn't they respond? Or were they waiting to see? Were they calculating? Were they having meetings and he just acted before they got a chance to respond? Or should they have set a Slack, perhaps, to say, give us a moment, chill, bro, chill, something. But hey.
I wonder if they had an internal Slack with the SCB or anybody else.
Let's not say this word ever again. Yeah. All right.
You don't want to read that? You don't want to read that text?
Are you going to respond?
Am I going to respond?
Yeah,
Maybe.
You should. Okay, so this text here, I didn't want to read it. So the caller just now, because I didn't understand a word he was saying. And so this person said, then I asked Chester if he understood. And so the texter saying, Dwight, did Chester, as your business reporter, just say he didn't understand the caller who talked about a stop loss? Seriously? How is he the business reporter?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm waiting for your response.
You're waiting for my response? Oh, okay.
You told me to read it. I wasn't going to read it.
I don't know everything there is to know about everything to do with business. I also have no idea if stop loss has much to do with cryptocurrencies. I just don't know, to be honest. And if Sam Bankman-Fried was doing regular trading, maybe it would make sense to me, but I had no idea what the caller meant when it comes to crypto exchanges.
And we love that caller. He calls almost every day. most of it to me, and no offense to him. I think I've told this before.
And external satellite servers,
Right,
and I have no idea.
It's all mainly a riddle, it seems to me. But hey, for those of you who do get it, wonderful for you. I'm sure I don't need to, and I don't know if Jester does.
I'm not incriminating the man by saying, that sounds like a possibility.
Because it did seem like he was suggesting something
nefarious.
Yes, quite.
Yeah.
Although, so it's best if we say we don't know. I'm sure. Yeah. All right, a couple messages as we get ready to go to the break. This person says here, who exactly in the government did he tell he was going to allow the withdrawals here? Yeah, that's what we're asking, right? Who did he send that to? Who at the SCB did
he should send a screenshot of his Slack or WhatsApp or however he did it. It couldn't have been like an email. They don't use those things, right?
Who's they?
The younger rich people.
Fancy ones. Too incriminating. Yeah. Probably one of those disappearing WhatsApps. Have you seen that? That you can Well, why would you do that?
What do you mean why?
What's the point of that?
I'm sure somebody can pull it up later.
You can screenshot it. But why would you?
No, I mean like the authorities.
Oh, you mean like they won't do that?
Because WhatsApp don't give away.
Yeah, no. But yeah, probably one of those. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Again, we're gonna move on. But 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Yeah. So those are good questions there. We want to hear the answers if they will. I don't know. They haven't been responding much. I think since I've been on vacation, they sent out 2 statements.
SCB,
right?
Maybe 3 statements.
Oh, 3. Wow.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, but this one will be interesting to know. Did they get a message from him? Would it have made any difference? Why didn't they respond?
Listen, I don't know when you're gonna hear from them.
Why?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's just not something they do. Apparently.
No, but they obviously need to do some things differently.
I agree, especially in this case.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, stuff that might really matter to you more. Village Road and some of the other works matters. When will that be finished? When will it be finished? They're saying the end of the year now. That's what I think they were always saying. But do you believe that is only 1 month to go? And Christmas is in there. And Junkanoo and stuff. So...
Junkanoo Village Road.
No, but people are going to be busy. So which end of year? That's the question. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Prices and vices, I end up in crisis. I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch as you're leaving, 'cause you got tired of my scheming. For the last time, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. At tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. Sometimes I feel like everybody.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. Getting food, gas, and other essentials to you could get tougher if there's a rail strike in a few days. Congress could impose a compromise labor agreement. The House takes this up today after President Biden asked Congress to step in.
There's a lot to do, including resolving the train strike.
A potentially crippling freight rail strike next week.
And Congress, I think, has to act to prevent it. It's not an easy call, but I think we have to do it. The economy's at risk.
The president's also urging legislation to avoid a government shutdown next month and pushing for it to include more funding for the COVID-19 response and Ukraine. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Soon the House will take up a bill the Senate just passed that protects same-sex and interracial marriages. The AP's Lisa Dwyer.
It's an extraordinary sign of shifting national politics on the issue and a measure of relief for hundreds of thousands of same-sex couples who have married since the Supreme Court's 2015 decision that legalized gay marriage nationwide. The bill ensures that same-sex and interracial marriages are enshrined in federal law. The Senate vote was 61 to 36. That includes support from 12 Republicans. Republican Senator from Maine, Susan Collins, says,
"Today, we made a difference."
The bill next goes to the House for a final vote and then to President Joe Biden's desk. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Tornadoes hit parts of Mississippi last night as heavy thunderstorms rolled from eastern Texas to Georgia and as far north as Indiana. No immediate reports of serious damage or injuries. An international group that promotes democracy says democracy is being degraded around the world because people are losing faith in the legitimacy of elections, and they see freedom of expression being hindered, among a range of other problems. This is AP News. Tiger Woods is painting an uncertain picture of how much golf he can play.
Woods withdrew from playing at the tournament he's hosting in Bermuda this weekend.
I don't have much left in his leg.
The injury is plantar fasciitis in his right foot.
I can hit golf balls. It's the walking that just hurts.
Plantar fasciitis is related to injuries Woods suffered in a car crash in 2021, which ended any hope of him playing on a regular basis.
Gear up for the biggest ones, and hopefully, lightning catches in a bottle. And I'm up there in contention with a chance to win, and hopefully I'll remember how to do that.
Tiger Woods also doesn't have much hope for the PGA Tour, and Greg Norman's Saudi-funded rival league, LIV, getting along.
Now with Greg there and his animosity towards the tour itself, I don't see that happening. As Rory said, and I said it as well, I think Greg's got to leave.
Lawsuits and counter-lawsuits have been filed. I'm Ed Donahue.
And I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
7:37 the time. Time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Make this Christmas whatever you want it to be with an RBC personal loan. In your real-time traffic at this hour, we've got heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway as usual. Traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout up to the Tonique Williams Darling Highway roundabout. That's in northbound lanes there. And backed up along Fire Trail eastbound to the Fire Trail roundabout as well. Glasson Road is also busy for you just south of Fire Trail as well, all the way up to JFK Drive in the northbound lane. We're seeing heavy traffic on Carmichael from just east of Fire Trail to Blue Hill Road. We're just seeing heavy traffic, Blue Hill from St. Vincent up to just north of Carmichael, and then again north of Soldier as you approach the roundabout with Independence Drive, which is back to both directions, and the streets are wet and flooded, so that could be impeding traffic, especially westbound on Independence Drive this morning. Elsewhere, we've got some pockets along Soldier Road, especially eastbound to the East Street intersection, and near Windsor Place. And then Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail, heavy traffic there. And then Prince Charles Drive at pockets, especially along, nearby Elizabeth Estates, and on the way to Fox Hill Road westbound, and on the way to Beatrice Avenue westbound. Eastern Road seeing heavy traffic from well east of San Souci this morning to just about Johnson Road, but still busy as you get closer to Village Road and Shirley Street as the work continues on Village this morning. That's what we're seeing in your real-time traffic. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC. Apply for a loan with RBC at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay until February 2023. And time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. In your weather, we've got a weakening frontal boundary across the central Bahamas that will gradually dissipate today while generating occasional cloudiness and showers across the area. Breezy conditions will continue over the islands due to high pressure north of the Bahamas. Beachgoers should be alert for rip currents along north and east coast beaches and at Atlantic exposed shorelines. And there is a threat of waterspout activity along the dissipating frontal boundary today. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, your forecast calls for variably cloudy and breezy conditions with a chance of a few brief showers, turning breezy and mild tonight with a passing shower or two possible. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny and breezy with isolated to scattered showers, turning mainly fair tonight. For boaters across the country, small craft operators should exercise caution. Temperatures today getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, after the weakening frontal boundary across the central Bahamas will gradually dissipate, as yet another front is expected to move into the Bahamas by Thursday evening and fall stationary. Strong high pressure will build across the islands behind the front, generating windy conditions, resulting in hazardous boating and beaching conditions into the weekend. So, for tomorrow, Thursday, partly sunny and breezy with a few brief passing showers, becoming partly cloudy by evening, with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, becoming windy behind the front. Small craft advised to use caution ahead of the front, and an advisory will come into effect after the frontal passage. By Friday, variably cloudy and windy with a few fast-moving showers across the islands. Small craft urged to remain in port. We'll have a look at the tropics coming up in your weather check after the 8 o'clock news, but this weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams Paints wants to make your holiday a splash jollier. November 21st through December 23rd, come deck your walls with color by stopping into either the Tonique-Williams-Darling Highway or Prince Charles Drive location and take advantage of their Christmas sale of up to 20% off. And when you spend $100 or more, you enter to win prizes like hotel stays, boat excursions, interior designer consultations, and more. So stop on in to win. Sherwin-Williams Bahamas, find color in every day.
It's the most rewarding time of the year. Come down to RBC. Get a loan to buy whatever. RBC makes it better. Get a loan and don't pay till New Year.
Make Christmas what you want it to be with a personal loan from RBC. Apply at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay till February 2023. Conditions apply.
Get a loan and don't pay till New Year. To RBC.
Hey, what you doing under the Christmas tree again?
Nothing, mommy, ain't nothing.
Listen, it's not Christmas yet, so you have to wait.
I just don't know if we're getting a phone this year. I see BTC having 50% off now. You know, you like a good sale.
What? BTC have 50% off phone sale now?
This Christmas, get 50% off all handsets. Plus, switch to BTC and get 2 gigs of extra data and unlimited BTC calls to December 2023 every month with your 7-day or higher prepaid combo or data-only plan. Link up today. Link up!
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, VAT inclusive. And an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
We're good for you. We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Hey, Bill, glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mark Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Dig up! You know I have to come with this one, y'all. Boy, they doing some serious digging around Nassau, boy. In Nassau town 2011, that's when all the digging began. They say they have to lay the pipe, but man, it's stressing out my life. All kind of dust in my nose, all over my car and my clothes. They say it's all for my good, but not right now in my neighborhood. The road them dig up, all the road them dig up. Everywhere they digging, morning, noon and evening. The road them dig up, all the road them dig up. Got to go north, to go south.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning. Did you hear that AP report just now? This
I
is
didn't
really,
catch it.
this is really.
But I
out of
believe you
control.
if you say they said it.
The reporter said that Tiger Woods is in Bermuda for a golf tournament. He is in the Bahamas.
Yes.
The Bahamas.
For his golf tournament.
Is this how we are? Any B country they're all the same? Just use the name interchangeably.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Oh boy, that's sad. Very sad. Very sad. Anyway, okay. So we're moving on from FTX. Village Road. The roads are dug up. Well, Village Road is, but the other roads are kind of dug up too. Potholes.
Not dug up by man.
Not by humans, no.
Yeah.
But vicious, evil rain, and I suspect some of it is. I think there is human error in it too, because a lot of the patchwork that was done, we try to make our roads look like quilts. The patch jobs are made of a Kleenex-like material. And so even if you drop, your bottle of water on the patch, it seems to bore a hole into it. So it reopens the hole. You not notice that? And the patches are never even. They're either too high or too low.
Right.
And so the patch is compromised.
Well, the reason for the hole, whatever that reason is.
Which one? The original or
the original hole?
Oh, okay.
Right? Negates the patch.
How so?
Because it's still happening underneath the patch.
Oh, well, that means the patch wasn't done properly.
No.
No?
That's not what that means.
I don't know what it means.
That means the original road layer was not done properly.
Well, I won't disagree with you on
As
that
we
one.
can see from the F&M administration's roads, which are quite fine.
Well, okay, I wouldn't have gone there. I don't think that's accurate to say.
They're not fine?
No, because some of the roads done during that administration have held up much better than others. So it depends on who the contractor was.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about those particular roads.
Yeah, but
Right.
but some of those were done under the F&M administration. So other roads.
My point is,
so it's not
the roads that were, I'm talking about the ones that were done right, that you don't have a problem with. There is a solution.
But those were the
for the
ones
problems.
that were dug up for the longest and had the most workers and the most foreigners involved. But those ones have held up much better.
But that's the point. We can build roads that hold up.
I don't know if it's we now. Because
Well,
it just said
I
how
mean, the world, man,
people,
humans, people. Yes,
Right,
that's what I'm talking about.
Right,
I'm talking about
okay.
us. Clearly, we need to
We have
keep
a
patching.
problem.
We have to. We need to spend the money over and over and
Yeah.
over and
Because
over.
say
and
what you
over.
must about Prince Charles Drive, but it really has, with a few exceptions, really held up incredibly well compared to some other streets that have been paved since that are crumbling.
It took a broken water main on Prince Charles to destroy the street.
One or two potholes, but that is remarkable considering some other
Our
places.
history.
And Eastern Road, which has been paved twice in that time, is a disaster. Giant, dangerous potholes. Not sure.
Oh yeah, some bad ones right now.
Yeah. But of course, nothing compares to Village Road. It was bad long before, and we were trying to figure out for years why Village Road wasn't paved, but they said they had work to do, real major utility work.
I don't know
to
how
do.
they're gonna. If they're gonna attack East Street, they need to shut the road down.
East Street?
Yeah.
Well, obviously they have some issue. They have beef with East Street. They don't seem to ever want to deal with East Street.
And East Street fighting back. So I don't know what to say.
Oh boy! All right, so here's the latest with Village Road. We'd been hearing. I think it was always the end of the year, right? No, early. It was supposed to be September or something, right? That was early in the year.
I think we did a story that was like November, early December.
Okay, yeah. The last time they were on the show, they said December, and December's tomorrow. But end of the year. They haven't started paving yet, but they're about to. Take a listen to what Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sayers said to reporters yesterday about Village Road. Take a listen to this.
The Water and Sewage Corporation has had to do some additional work in terms of the water mains. And I had a meeting with Water and Sewage, BPL, and BTC, with the Ministry of Works and also with the contractor. And they have a coordinated strategy. The paving of the road will begin on the first week of December, near the end of the first week of December, and it will be in 3 phases. So those phases of paving will take us through December, and it is expected by the end of September they will have been, December, I'm sorry. By the end of December 2022, they will be substantially completed.
Alfred Sayers there speaking about it. Was that a Freudian slip? He said September. Did he mean 2023? But no, he meant December. Okay. Yeah, I said it yesterday in the show that, in the last couple of weeks, the number of potholes has grown tremendously, it seems. I don't know what's going on. And it's all over all over. I know there's a hotline, but now I think you can't
We
continue.
had a lot of rain at some point. That would have
Sure.
caused it,
Okay. And what are they making these roads out of, though?
It's not they're just not doing the things that could prevent. There are technologies out there that could prevent
Yeah, absolutely.
the amount of potholes that we get after fixing a road.
And I do think it is something with the material. That's just me saying it. That I know we seem to. Well, I don't know if it's we. The roadworks folks seem to like a very slick, smooth surface, whereas a grainier surface seems to be better able to withstand the potholes. It seems to me. But it,
I don't know.
I can show you some examples. Some streets that are much grainier than others, and they don't have the issues.
They may have some concrete in it.
I'm not too sure.
And not just complete asphalt.
Maybe I don't know. Something is different, but we've got to change the way we do this. And the patching is crazy. By the way, speaking of patching, what's going on in the shopping centers on this island? What I can name some that, like, why don't you all care about your customers?
What happened to them?
It's like Swiss cheese. It's just.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you off air, the one that I'm talking about. Let's hear what you have to say, folks, about this. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Nice to be back. How was vacation, buddy?
Too short.
Boy, I tell you, you come back and know fine. But listen, I just want to give some advice to the ministry. I think what needs to happen, I've been trying my best to send photos to them, identifying the potholes, but I think they need more inspectors to be out to inspect those areas. And my concern, the biggest concern I have, and this was a project being done many years ago with the Road Improvement Program, is the Blue Hill Road, S.C. Max Ferguson intersection there. Very small area. They need to expand that and open up that road. I don't know who the inspectors are. I mean, it is just crazy when you're trying to pass SC and going by super wash there in between. That is ridiculous. Whoever designed that, in my opinion, I would have sent them home for a week.
Well, I think they said, I think they claimed, I heard this, they claimed that they did that because of the school. They didn't want to have 4 or 5 lanes there and people carrying on crazy. And so because of the children crossing the street, they didn't want that. But it isn't working. It has to change.
It ain't what that is. I'm sure you've been on that road before.
It's a nightmare.
Get down to super value areas.
Even on a weekend, even on a Sunday morning, it's terrible.
Something has to be done. You can't just say no school. That's unacceptable to me.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. The United States, you have traps, you have highways passing all over the place. Right? That's unacceptable. Okay? That has to be fixed. I know it didn't happen under this administration, but the persons at the ministry, if we need to bring on more inspectors and people who really can see things in the future, let's get it done. Let's get things done quickly. You have potholes, you got overflow when rain happens, children can't pass through water. We need to fix it right away. And if you don't have anybody do it, you find someone to do it, right? That's how I operate. I hope I don't sound like Mr. Ingram, but that's how I operate.
Okay.
Get it done.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Some text messages here. Someone says, hey, Dwight, the previous government was much better at road paving. Well, okay. This government seems lost, confused, and clueless when it comes to paving roads. And please, for the Lord's sake, I get some editing here, pave Boyd Road already. Thank you. It still isn't. You know what they did? It looks like a mohawk. Is it Boyd Road? They paved the thing that they were working on, just that down the middle. It's insane. Like, what is this?
Where's Boyd Road again?
Where's St.
Oh, I haven't been that road for a little while.
Nassau Street.
Yeah.
They had a tunnel to Australia there for a long time, and it was gigantic. And I almost got lost, but I managed to climb my way out of it. But it is a mess.
Glad you didn't lose a wheel or anything.
Well, I'm sure my car is not the same. This person says here, I'm going with the end of September 2023, as I have no confidence in the minister's leadership to ensure that the Ministry of Works completes the project by the end of the year. Oh, boy. Well, that's unfortunate, eh? We're going to keep watching this one, definitely. to see where this goes. But anyway, we're going to take a break for news. When we come back, we are going to be talking with the ambassador from Ukraine to the Bahamas. And later, a whole lot in Morning Blend Business. So a lot more to come on this Wednesday morning. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Boy, they doing some serious digging right now, so boy. In Nassau Town 2011, that's when all the digging began. They say they have to lay the pipe, but man, it's stressing out my life.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's Wednesday, November 30th, 20...
Report is brought to you...
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796 on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC. And now at 8:23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a weakening frontal boundary across the central Bahamas that will gradually dissipate today, while generating occasional cloudiness and showers across the area. Breezy conditions will continue due to high pressure north of the islands. So for today, for the northwest Bahamas, look for variably cloudy and breezy conditions with a chance of a few brief passing showers. Breezy and mild tonight with a passing shower or two possible. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny and breezy with isolated to scattered showers today, mainly fair tonight. Small craft operators across the country should exercise caution. Temperatures today getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that weakening front across the central islands will gradually dissipate, and yet another front is expected to move into the Bahamas by Thursday evening and then fall stationary. Strong high pressure will build across the islands behind the front, generating windy conditions, resulting in hazardous boating and beaching conditions into the weekend. So for tomorrow, Thursday, partly sunny and breezy with a few brief passing showers, becoming partly cloudy by the evening with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, becoming windy behind the front. Friday, variably cloudy and windy with a few fast-moving showers. Small craft being urged to exercise caution ahead of that front, and after the front will be urged to remain in port. In the tropics, it is the final day of the Atlantic hurricane season, and thankfully the tropics remain quiet at this time. That is your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance, still the first and only local insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. 8:25, time for another check of the traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Make this Christmas whatever you want it to be with an RBC personal loan. In your real-time traffic, we're seeing some heavy traffic in a number of spots this morning. Milo Butler Highway, particularly heavy this morning, from well south of Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway in the northbound lane, so you're going to be seeing that there. Traffic is back to both directions on Fire Trail Road between Gladstone and Milo Butler Highway, east and westbound. Gladstone Road is busy from all the way down to Carmichael Road. straight up to John F. Kennedy Drive, northbound lanes mainly, but also southbound the closer you get to Carmichael. So it's a really busy morning. Don't normally see it like that, but it's been raining and there's some issues on some of the streets, so keep that in mind. Carmichael is busy for you between Gladstone Road and Mile Butler Highway, both directions, but mainly eastbound, it appears. Cowpen Road also busy for you eastbound to Faith Avenue. Faith Avenue not looking pleasant at all in multiple directions there. And then we've got St. Vincent Road and Carmichael seeing heavy traffic, especially eastbound to Blue Hill Road, and Blue Hill Road's going to be busy for you all the way up to the roundabout with Independence Drive. And then the Independence Drive is back to both directions. There is some flooding on Independence Drive, especially westbound, so keep that in mind if you can avoid it. I'm not sure what you'd use as an alternative route, but Independence Drive is not a place to be at this hour. Elsewhere, we've got Wolf Road, some heavy traffic from west of Mackey Street, and Prince Charles Drive looking challenging for you, especially near Elizabeth Estates and on the way to Beatrice Avenue and through to Robinson Road, east and west of Soldier Road. Soldier up to Bernard, Wolf, and Village also challenging, as is Eastern Road and West Bay Street along Saunders Beach and all the way to Arawaki. So this is a morning to try to wait till 9 o'clock if you can to get out there this morning. But good luck to you. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC. Apply for a loan with RBC at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay until February 2023.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the start.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And this morning, our guest is the permanent representative of Ukraine to the United Nations. And yesterday, he presented his letters of credence to the Governor General and is now the ambassador from Ukraine to the Bahamas. We're very pleased to welcome Sergei Kitsley. And I got it before. Oh, gosh. You see, the mic is on and now the pressure. Okay, let's try this again. Sergei Kitslitsia. No, I messed it up.
Well, thank you. Anyway, good morning, and thank you very much for having me here this morning.
Good morning. Okay, pronounce your name for us.
My name is Sergei Kitslitsia.
Okay, there we go. Ambassador, great to have you with us this morning. All right, so we were talking about this off air. The history of the Bahamas and Ukraine, we believe you are the second, is that right, ambassador?
Right. We established diplomatic relationship in 2009, and I think I'm the second ambassador of Ukraine to this beautiful country.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're happy to have you with us. All right, so let's talk about it. What's going on in Ukraine right now? We watch the American media. We see this. We see what's happening. We've been following the story from the beginning of the year. But there are people, surprisingly, who think that we are getting a Western slant to the news. You tell us, in your words, what exactly is happening with Ukraine and Russia right now.
Well, indeed. Ukraine is in the news every day, but it's not true that it is only in the American news. It's another thing that probably the Bahamas receives as a nation most of the foreign news from the United States and the UK. But believe me, I have friends all around the world, and every day they send me clips or pieces of news in Portuguese and French and Spanish about Ukraine. And everybody around the world is concerned. We may be more than 9,000 kilometers away, the Bahamas and Ukraine, but the Bahamas are affected by what's going on there, because the globalized world does not allow anyone to be insulated and leave as nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. All right. So paint a picture for us.
Right.
What's been happening across the country?
Well, Russia has invaded Ukraine in 2014. I mean, many people believe that the war started in February 2022, which is not the case, because Russians moved in Crimea in February 2015, and they tried to illegally annex the peninsula. Mm-hmm. Now they temporarily occupy Crimea. They also moved in eastern part of Ukraine, and ever since we've been fighting with them. It's another case that this war came to a new level of full-scale invasion that was launched by Putin on the night 23rd, 24th of February. We are in more than 280 days of war. We have changed the tide of the war, and we are now on the assault, deoccupying our territories. We have successfully deoccupied the major region of Kharkiv, which is the second largest city in Ukraine. We have pushed literally out the Russian army of Kherson, which is in the south, and it's only the winter time that technically slows down the military operation. On both sides, the toll is very heavy. I mean, I believe that our official estimate is that Russians have lost more than 80,000 people, and more than 100 people probably lost in action or missed or wounded and things like that. I mean, the Russians had to launch another wave of mobilization in their country, and basically they use the freshly mobilized male population as cannon fodder because they have no means even to properly equip the soldiers they are sending to the front.
Mm-hmm. You talked about the human toll. What impact has it had on the economy, on the country in general?
Well, I give you one example, and you will realize it dramatically. I mean, before the war, Ukraine was shipping up to 5 million metric tons of grain out of Ukraine. You can imagine the volume. So in the last 9 months, we shipped only 10 million tons of grain, and that has a super dramatic impact on many, many countries around the world. There are countries that only now realize how heavily they were dependent on Ukrainian food supply. Yeah. I would give you a couple of examples. Lebanon, 70% of grain comes from Ukraine. Israel, which is next to Lebanon, is much, much richer than Lebanon. 50% of grain comes from Ukraine. There are many African countries that are 40 to 70% dependent on Ukraine, and for them it is a matter of survival. Yeah. I mean, the hunger is now pushed to the limit of starvation. That is why people are so concerned. I mean, the food prices, energy prices were already in trouble before this aggression, and the aggression just escalated the problem. So we have a chain reaction on many fronts, and whether you are in the UK, in the Bahamas, or even in the United States, you have reasons to believe that the Putin's war on Ukraine escalated many bad things happening in the economy.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you satisfied with the global response to what is happening?
It's not a very simple thing. I would tell you that even our closest partners did not believe that we would survive even a couple of days of the Russian invasion, because there are many people around the globe that believe that Russia is still a superpower, which we proved literally that it was totally untrue. And when many people around the world saw that Ukrainians are not only lost the war, but they are all effectively resisting the war, they started helping us. And now we have a very steady flow of both military and financial help coming from many parts of the world. In New York, we are witnessing unprecedented global support when it comes to the political things. Like we had a vote recently where we got 143 countries supporting territorial integrity of Ukraine, while Russia was supported only by 4 countries. And those countries are very respectable in terms of human rights and international law, countries like North Korea, Syria, and similar. Mm-hmm. So Russia, in my opinion, Russia globally is totally isolated. Russia discredited itself to the extent that even former allies of President Putin want nothing to do with him. And you could have seen that during the summits in Shanghai and in Central Asia, and the fact that Putin opted not to go to Indonesia for G20 summit also illustrates how isolated he is. But that's his fault, and that's the responsibility that he has to bear.
Yeah. As a permanent representative of Ukraine to the United Nations, you've spoken at the UN, and we've seen the video of you speaking. You've become almost like a rock star, speaking as much as President Volodymyr Zelensky about what's happening in your country. And we saw the message that you read from a Russian soldier. The text there that was very powerful. What's been the reaction to that, and what are people saying to you when they meet you and see you?
You know, until this war, and especially until the invasion of February, people were still preferring to operate in a lukewarm environment where everything is nice, polite, diplomatic, things like that. But the scale of the drama is only comparable with World War II. I mean, Europe until now hasn't seen so much damage and deaths and calamities. So the thing I feel in New York, and also my mission in New York is 10 times less than the Russian mission, but I still feel much more powerful than they are, because I feel that morally we are on the right side of the history. And you can see that when you enter the General Assembly Hall, where representatives of 193 countries come to do their business, the level of their support, and I'm very proud that most of the countries of CARICOM and the Bahamas in particular, they're very strong. I mean, the support of the Bahamas is very principled, and even if sometimes, like recently when the CARICOM abstained, I think that from the point of view of moral choice that your government has made and sustained, when the war is over, you will be proudly in the camp of those countries who supported the UN Charter.
Let's talk a little bit about, I wanted to ask you about that, right? The Bahamas joined CARICOM as countries that abstained from the resolution for Russia to pay war reparations, is that right? What did you make of the response they gave, CARICOM, and as to why they abstained from voting?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that that was not the first resolution that the General Assembly put to a vote, and quite successfully. Well, the first resolution we put to a vote was on the 2nd of March, and it was about designating the Russian Federation as the aggressor state, and it was successfully voted by 140 countries in the General Assembly. That was a political statement, mostly because it was about the fact that Russia was the aggressor state, and it had mostly political, powerful implication. There were also resolutions on humanitarian aspects of the war. There were resolutions on Human Rights Council. So there are purely political resolutions, and there are resolutions that are more of technical nature, that is not just about telling that we support the UN Charter. The resolution you referred to, it was quite complicated because it had to be cleared by many agencies in every single country. When we speak about compensations, about reparations, it's also about financial issues, tax issues, legality, national courts and things. So I understand that within CARICOM, which is the block of nations, there probably were very difficult discussions. And I think that the position to have the unity on abstention, which does not equal opposing the resolution, was not as good as we wished, but it's better than to have some against, some in favor, some not participating. But the important thing that 94 countries voted for that resolution, and I have very high degree of confidence that most of the CARICOM countries are very dedicated to legality, and they will follow up appropriately on the decision of the General Assembly.
Mm-hmm. We're getting a text here asking why is Ukraine not sitting down and negotiating a ceasefire and peace? Where do things stand with that?
Well, let me remind you that before the night of 24th of February, my president, my foreign minister, myself, we were saying that every single day that we have to sit down, respectively with Putin, with Lavrov, with my counterpart in New York, Nebenza, and to discuss, because the invasion was imminent. It was like hanging in the air, and everybody realized that if not today, then tomorrow it would happen, and it happened eventually. The Russians were against it. Nevertheless, the first days of March, our delegation made several attempts. We sat down with the Russians, and all they wanted, they put a piece of paper in front of us, and they said, just capitulate. So that was not the genuine conversation of parties that were interested in resolving and preventing the escalation of the conflict. All they wanted, the total capitulation of Ukraine. So when they realized eventually that militarily, they, in spite of calling themselves the second army in the world, that militarily they were very weak and they were losing ground, they realized that they have very serious complications with sending fresh personnel, sending ammunition, sending weapons to the front, and they realized that they need some time, some ceasefire, so to say, just to replenish their army in the front. So what they are interested in, they are not interested in how to negotiate their withdrawal. They are interested in having this technical ceasefire to make their army resupplied. And the major problem is, and you have probably seen that in the news, that when we deoccupy our cities and settlements, we find torture chambers, we find hundreds, if not thousands, of bodies of civilians killed during the occupation. So technically, the ceasefire and temporarily the halt of the advancement of the Ukrainian army means the continuation of the tortures of those who have to live under the occupation. So we can't really afford it. I mean, even politically, the government cannot afford it.
Do you suspect that's what's happening when they withdraw from cities, that they're doing that to regroup?
Absolutely. I mean, the Russian army is pathetic. It has been totally ruined by the corrupt regime, and I think that was part of the grand-scale miscalculation of Putin, who had bad intelligence, bad information from the generals. Half of the weapons were either destroyed or sold in corrupt schemes. I mean, the whole system in Russia is corrupt. It took Putin more than 20 years to build this corrupt system, and even when Putin is gone, and he is be gone, it would take Russians many years, if not decades, to bring the country back to the beginning of the path of developing market economy and democracy in their country.
Yeah. That was my question. How do Russians, do you think Russians feel about the war itself and their outlook on the Ukrainian people?
You know, let me bring you back to Europe of 1930s, 1940s, and ask you how the Germans felt about Hitler.
Yeah.
And why Germans were so brainwashed in the second half of the 30s and first half of the 40s that they allowed Hitler to do nasty, ugly things. And you can see the video footage of the German citizens welcoming Hitler after the annexation of parts of Czech Republic or Austria, and ask why in the world they even let him do that. Yeah. And that's comparable to what is happening in Russia these days. I mean, people were so brainwashed for decades, literally decades. There are generations that have never ever seen anyone in different to Putin in power. Yeah. I mean, in the course of his 22 years in power, Ukraine and Ukrainian citizens elected 5 presidents, while Russia still has the same president. And so there is a generation of Russians who was born under Putin, educated under Putin, and sold as cannon fodder to the front as Putin, under Putin.
Now, we've been hearing the reports that there are great concerns about what this winter is going to bring and what Russia's attempting to do and how this could impact the people. What's happening there exactly?
Right, exactly. That's a very good question because, as we all know, Russia suffers military defeat in the front, and they realized that they cannot advance militarily. So what they do now, they destroy critical infrastructure in Ukraine. They launch missile attacks on Ukrainian power generators, on Ukrainian transformators, and up to 40-50% of the Ukrainian power infrastructure is destroyed. So we have entire cities living with no electricity and water supply. And you can imagine, in the capital of Ukraine is 3 million people, and you can imagine people sitting in the high-rise buildings for hours, if not days, without electricity.
My goodness.
You have handicapped people, you have elderly who cannot go down from 20th floor to 15th floor, and there is no water, electricity. And the temperature is going below 0 point, and that's basically a sort of energy genocide.
Yeah. My goodness. Are you afraid? I mean, he's threatened this before, Putin, about nuclear, a nuclear attack. How concerned are you? How concerned should we be, the world, about that?
Well, the nuclear non-proliferation is serious business, so it would be irresponsible to say that when it comes to nuclear proliferation, we can be relaxed. But when it comes to this particular case, indeed, Putin tried to blackmail the entire world with him using potentially nuclear arsenals, but then he was warned by many important countries, other nuclear powers, that it would not be tolerated and that he and his army would be immediately annihilated. And you don't really need to use nuclear arsenals as a reply to Russians using nuclear bombs. There are many other powerful things to destroy him personally and his army immediately. So now he realized that it's not an option for him.
Yeah. We're talking with Ambassador Sergei Kислitsia. We know that you have to leave. You're heading to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Just want to ask you really quickly about the relationship between Ukraine and the Bahamas, and after, what do you see as the way forward in the future for the two countries?
As I said, in spite of the fact that we are geographically very distant countries, we share the same planet, and I think that every citizen of the Bahamas realizes how fragile the situation is. I mean, the climate change, the impact of climate on this country is powerful. We have our own challenges, but we also have lots of potential to develop when the war is over in Ukraine. Ukraine is very strong when it comes to IT, when it comes to food security. We can supply so much food that you wouldn't really need any food at all in this country. We can also develop cooperation in the sphere of education. Ukraine is very strong when it comes to engineering, cyber science, medical schools, tourism. I mean, Ukrainians travel like crazy, and I'm sure that as soon as the war is over, you will see many Ukrainian tourists in the Bahamas.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Enjoy your stay here.
Thank
I know you have to go. Thank you for the time. We really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure talking with you, meeting you. Ambassador Sergei Kислitsia. I can't, whenever the pressure is on, I can't get it. But anyway, thank you again.
Have a good day.
Right.
Goodbye.
Have a good one.
We're going to take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
All right.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the most rewarding time of the year. Come down to RBC, get a loan to buy whatever. RBC makes it better. Get a loan and don't pay till New Year.
Make Christmas what you want it to be with a personal loan from RBC. Apply at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay till February 2023. Conditions apply.
Get a loan and don't pay till New Year. To RBC.
This Christmas season, stream with faster speeds. The unforgettable things we all have to see. Share every memory. Link up for Christmas. Link up with BTC. We are family.
BTC will make this festive season fun and fast with
BTC's fiber internet. Sign up and BTC will give you 1 month free or go postpaid and get unlimited Facebook and WhatsApp.
Link up for Christmas, link up with BTC.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Okay, class, let's begin today's history lesson. Ancient civilization used to visit stadiums to watch musicians perform. It was called a live concert.
Teacher, what year was that?
Researchers believe it was around 2019. Normal life feels like a long time ago. As things return to normal, remember it is essential to be fully immunized against all vaccine-preventable diseases like COVID-19, rubella, polio, hepatitis, mumps, and influenza. This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Government of Canada, and the United States of America.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price. Cheney's Chesapeake Road Christmas Wonderland is open under the Big Tent. Get your Christmas trees in pink, frosted, green, or white in a variety of sizes. Musical Christmas LED and laser lights, a large variety of tree ornaments, lighted angels and Santa tree toppers, bright and lively colored Christmas balls in all sizes, garlands, wreaths, tree skirts, stockings, and lots more. Add flowers, picks, and decorative mesh to brighten up your home or office this holiday season. And don't forget the toys at Janae's Chesapeake Road. Check our selections online at www.janae's.com.
Do you want a chance to win one of 5 Yamaha Kryptonite scooters? Do you like the great taste of Frito-Lay chips? Well, all you have to do is purchase chips like Lay's, Doritos, and Cheetos at your favorite grocery store, and you can enter to win thanks to Frito-Lay and Island Wholesale Scooter Giveaway Promotion. Want to know more? Join us at Extra Value Oaksfield, December 3rd, this Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. for a chance to play Island Wholesale Shoot and Win game for instant prizes and a chance to win one of 5 Yamaha scooters. Frito-Lay, distributed by Island Wholesale.
The new standard in pharmacy services is here. Welcome to the state-of-the-art Doctors Hospital Pharmacy at The Point, offering all of your personal and healthcare needs at one location, including prescription and over-the-counter medications, convenience and health and beauty aids, remote fulfillment, and same-day delivery. So whether it's a life-saving prescription or a last-minute sunscreen for a day at the beach, it has never been easier to access your medical needs downtown. To place an order, email us at prescriptions@doctorshosp.com or call us at 302-3280. Trusted and best care, now downtown.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Oh yeah! All right, my beautiful islands.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. This morning just wrapped up our interview with Ambassador from Ukraine to the Bahamas, Sergei Kislitsia. I can say it when he's not in the room. Just can't say it. Kislitsia. It's so easy when he's not here, but whenever he's... I don't understand. Anyway, okay. Some of you are disturbing me. Some of your messages this morning. I'm going to read them. Dwight, this is a one-sided topic if you're not going to invite someone from Putin's side, to be fair.
One of your faithful trolls?
That wasn't the only text like that.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
No. Will there be a Russian perspective to this show?
Oh, you're good people.
What do you think that's all about?
Trolling.
But no, there are plenty of people listening saying, "Yeah, that's right. You just can't believe everything." But what is that, dude? So you believe there is a good reason to invade another country? You think that that's fine to kill civilians? You think that there could be justification for this? And
clearly
say,
they
well,
do.
the U.S. does it all the time. That's what they're going to say. Very, very interesting. Okay. Another one here. Well, he did talk about it, Ambassador Kislitsia, saying about the agriculture, and this text was asking, can Ukraine help the Bahamas in agriculture? He said it.
And so he could feed the country.
More food than we could ever.
Yeah.
Well.
Certainly a lot of grain.
Yeah. Let's get your reaction, folks. Call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. This person says, a great show. As usual, we don't want to hear nothing from Putin's side. I agree. I don't want to hear anything. What could they possibly...
What are you going to say?
What's going on with you, though? I mean, so you just have no trust in the ways of the West. Everybody in the West and Western media, everyone is, but you believe, okay. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Golly days is talking away so long with you and Chester, and of course your producer, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let me ask you something. Now, the gentleman talked about feeding the Bahamas, but he haven't mentioned anything whereby we would be protected from radiation, stones, and gunpowder on the goods. I wish you had asked him those sort of questions. You see my point? You understand me?
No.
What are you talking about?
The thing is, if you're fighting a war and your country are being bombarded with bullets and bombs and stuff like that, you're automatically going to get radiation in the area, gunpowder, and places that were bombed. You're going to get stones into food and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be... Well, I think we're a long ways off there in the middle of a war, and but in the future, we're talking about the future. But okay.
So
I just want to... Can I go back on vacation?
No. Morning Blend Business is up next.
Hey, Morning Blend Business is up next.
Yeah.
Coming up, folks, we are going to be talking about making the switch or gradually in improving or introducing it into your diet, a plant-based lifestyle. Is it for you? What do you need to know if you're going to be doing it? And we're going to talk about my personal struggles with doing it for about a year and a half now. And
we're not talking about growing meat in a petri dish, right?
Hmm?
Not that.
Who's doing that? You mean out of
People
a plant?
doing that? No.
What? No. What is that a plant-based diet?
No, but
Because
I don't
it's
know.
genetically
Lab-grown meat?
manufactured. Oh wow, that
Anyway.
sounds like something. I was gonna say. Oh boy, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Anyway, and then later we're gonna be talking about a compilation of short films, a special event taking place this week. So a lot to get to in Morning Blend Business right after the news. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
He made these islands. All the sun, all the geese, all the skies, all the breeze, all the creeks, all the hills, all the sand, all the trees. So tell me why. Tell me why. He made these islands. Yes. Tell me if it's angels. Never liked a sunny day. Tell me why we have no winter. If those angels never came down here to play. Tell me why there's 12 months of summer.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards, and this morning we are going to be talking about the plant-based lifestyle and making that switch whether gradually or wholesale away from meat. It's an interesting and challenging topic for a lot of people, but we're going to talk about that. Guiding us through, we're very pleased to welcome from Seedlings Place, Rhonda Wright, and we also have with us Dale Wells Marshall and Dr. Hillary Booker. Great to have you all with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Always a pleasure to be here.
Good morning. Thank you.
And Dr. Booker, you're on, yes? Got your mic?
Good morning.
There we go. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Great to be there.
All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background on me. I don't talk about myself too much on this show. Right, Chester?
Good.
No.
We heard that you've been having some struggles.
Struggling, yeah.
So I decided, experimenting last year,
Yeah.
And tried it. And after the first few weeks, I said, you know what, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that was May of last year. And so I've been on this journey. Plant-based, still a little bit of dairy. But no meat and occasionally fish. But a few months ago, I decided to incorporate more fish because I think I'm having a challenge with protein. And I know the plant-based proteins, but it just seems like I'm not getting as much as I should or was before.
And what makes you feel that? Think that?
Just some changes. Before this, I was on an extremely protein-rich and very few carbs.
Right.
And I'd lost too much weight doing that. But I mean, I like the results. but I was probably too small.
Okay.
And now the opposite has happened, and I'm overdoing carbs. It just seems like the vegetarian lifestyle or plant-based is a carb festival.
Really?
So I'm having a bunch of
I
issues.
wish we had more time. This is a great conversation.
Right? Okay, so something is wrong.
Doing it wrong.
I'm doing something
doing it
wrong,
wrong.
I suspect. And then, I do like meat. So I'm doing a lot of the plant-based meats, those that you buy in the store, and I know they're processed, but I love them. And some of them are really good, but I just feel like I shouldn't be doing this. So I need help, and I'm sure many people are feeling that. They're thinking that if I do the plant-based meats, then I can kind of, fool myself into believing that I'm doing this. So what's right? What's wrong? Is there right and wrong? How do you do this and not miss and feel like you're missing out on the good things in life?
That's a great question. So thanks again for having us. I'm happy to have Dale and Dale Marshall and Dr. Hilary Booker are part of my Love Yourself in Your Health team, and they have their own wellness journeys and professions in their own right.
Wow.
Hopefully we have a chance to have them speak a little more to that about that. And so you are on a beautiful journey. I love to hear people's challenges and successes as they are making the transition, because I think it's important. I think certainly we can all agree, no matter what your lot in life in terms of what you decide to eat versus not eat, is that we want to be healthy. We want to, and when we talk about health, right, Dale, Hilary, we often think about health from the perspective of the absence of disease. But really, we want to switch that mindset, which is Dale's specialty, and focus on the presence of vitality, not just the absence of disease. And so what do we need to do to accomplish that? And we know that the transition, well, the reality is we live in a world where, eating meat and, carnivore is the lifestyle, the predominant lifestyle, right? Fortunately, vegetarianism and veganism is growing. As a matter of fact, the largest demographic is Black Americans, women specifically, who are trending toward vegan lifestyle.
Any idea why that's happening?
Well, I think the increase in awareness, education, also science and research tends to lean toward, they're not necessarily saying go eat a vegan diet, but what they are saying is to incorporate more plant-based foods in your lifestyle to reduce cholesterol, reduce saturated fat, eat a wide variety of plants, of fruits and vegetables. And the American Dietetic Association, when you look at what their comments are, and again, go right to the website, is about veganism and vegetarianism. It encourages you to consider it, or I should say, it indicates that it can absolutely be a healthy lifestyle, and you can also get the nutrients that you need from it, right? And so we're not saying you must go out there and be vegan or you must go out there and be vegetarian, but I think it's beneficial for all of us to have a baseline, and that's no matter what your food lifestyle is. Whether you eat meat, don't eat meat, it's helpful to have a baseline understanding as to what the body needs, full stop, right? So let's just start there. You mentioned what is right, what is wrong. The reality is, and I know I want to kind of speak to that myth. And ladies, jump in at any point, because y'all know I could talk, right? So please.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Absolutely,
to answer
Dr. Booker.
The question about the piece of Black women in the U.S. and the turn towards more plant-based.
Go ahead, absolutely.
Diets. Okay, so I think one of the really big things in the U.S., women of African ancestry tend to have a much higher rate, and this is also true in the Bahamas, of reproductive system disorders. So whether that's PCOS or fibroids, these sorts of things with the reproductive system. And I think there's been a lot of evidence that has emerged through the research, but also cultural evidence and a lot of cultural movements that are, again, part of the larger African diaspora. So they're certainly in the Bahamas, throughout the Caribbean, as well as in the U.S., that certainly point to primarily plant-based diets having a really strong effect on reducing some of those challenges, reducing some of those disorders. And so I think that's become a much more prominent narrative, again, culturally, and thankfully, that narrative is also contributing to more research. And so I think that has a lot to do with that particular trend. So I just wanted to jump in and point that out.
Thank you for adding that. And then, of course, women still are the predominant purchase, buyers, and guiding what's happening in the home and within families as well. So I think that also has a lot to do with it. So as Dr. Booker reiterated, science is really guiding us on that's the way to go.
Yeah.
But I wanted to speak to you asking about the best way to do it. No matter what side of the quote unquote divide, and I don't want to encourage divisiveness at all, right? Because again, we all have one goal. We really do all want to be healthy, and we want to focus on what we want together as opposed to the different way that we go about that.
Right.
But there is we want to move away from the myth of, oh, what's that magic pill, that magic answer, that wand, that's going to say, hey, okay, just do this. And unfortunately,
I wouldn't mind.
I know. I want it too, Dwight. Give it to me, please.
I just want that magic chef.
Exactly. The magic chef, and I want the magic fitness guy. Please come help me. Right? But the reality is that's just not the way that life is made up. But we've fallen into the traps of convenience and just wanting the quick fix. So I understand that life is busy and we want to find the easiest way to get it done. But no matter which way you go, any food lifestyle can be unhealthy or it could be healthy. You specifically described some of the makeup of what you were eating, which was quite interesting, and that is a part of the journey. I also want you and anyone else out there to understand, and I want Dale to speak to this, that as you make the decision to make shifts and adjustments, it is going to be a journey. There's no linear way to where you want to go. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to make mistakes until you find out what works best for you, and that is okay.
Yeah.
You started one way, you realize, okay, that's not exactly what I wanted, and you switched and you made changes, and that's how you ultimately find out in terms of the mix of what you want to incorporate, what's going to work best for you. So when you talk about, though, from a baseline perspective, I always say let's go back to the basics. And so I know that we have all kinds of diets out there and descriptions of high carb or low carb and high protein, etc. And, again, I really want the ladies to jump in, because as you move, for me, and as I've coached and guided people, balance is key. The body lives best in homeostasis, balance. And so you want to find out how can you incorporate all things, but not equally per se, because when you look at, for example, I want to guide people to, it's called the Vegan for Life Guide. There's a plate and it gives you a visual. And this is something that can help you and others as well in terms of what is a great guide or mix of those macronutrients that I need on my plate: protein, the healthy fats, the carbs, the starches, the fruits and vegetables that I need to incorporate to help me make the decision. What should I put on my plate? So if you go to that was put together by somebody named Dr. Ginny Massini, I think it's her name, and there are others out there as well. And it helps you to see fruits and vegetables really should be the lion's share, almost 50% of your plate. You want to make out with fruits and vegetables. So that's just so 50% of the plate. Then the rest of the plate, you have your proteins, and we have plant-based sources that we can guide you toward, right? Then you have your grains and your starches. And this is from a vegan perspective, right? And then, of course, a smaller portion of that would be nuts and seeds. That's and other healthy fats as well.
Right.
And then there's some outliers that are challenging to get from a vegan lifestyle, but also from those who eat meat as well. That's B12. Many people may have heard about B12. You need sunlight. And then, a few, one or two other things also. So that's just a general guide, right? Because, when you talk about what should I include on my plate, but I think it's a good idea for all of us to have a general knowledge of what the body needs in order to attain the vitality that we ultimately are all looking for.
All right. So what are some of the proteins? We know beans, that's one of the main
So
ones,
from a
right?
plant-based perspective, again, first of all, I want to say, we also come from, this thinking that we need so much protein to be healthy. And again, Dr. Booker, because I have these ladies with me because they're experts in their own area, may be able to speak to the actual ratios, but ultimately we don't need as much protein as we are made to believe. That's number one. Number two, we tend to consume an excessive amount of protein when we're eating heavily animal-based sources of protein, and it's harder to break down because it's not necessarily made for our body per se, right? We're getting it through the animals that are consuming it, etc. So that's number 2. Number 3, you can, once you have are eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, because you have protein in just about everything, right? And so when you're eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, you really generally can get sufficient protein. Again, that varies depending on your activity level and other things as well, but it's kind of difficult to not get, if you're eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, to not get an adequate amount of protein. Some of the sources, nuts and seeds is one. Grains, healthy grains like quinoa, for example, is another. Greens, dark leafy greens. You can also get protein from tofu, and I would also suggest let me just not identify tofu, but from soy-based products. And so, however, that's a big bucket discussion, right? That's a big bucket discussion. So I want to quickly say that when it comes to soy-based products, always go for the organic if you can, and non-GMO. Soy happens to be that, and corn, 2 of the food products that are highest in terms of genetically modified, GMOs. And so you want to be very careful about that. So just to err on the side of caution, non-GMO and organic would be the way that I would go with that. Tempeh, soy, I prefer to go with almond milk or cashew milk or one of those as opposed to soy milk personally. But those are some of the sources that you can go to for protein in the food. And of course, legumes and beans. That's another huge area where you can get protein. So there's no shortage of where you can get it. And again, no matter what food lifestyle, Dale, I'm sure you would agree, you need to be thoughtful and in planning to ensure that you're incorporating what it is that you need. Vegan, by the way, doesn't mean that it's healthy. Let's clear that myth up as well. Just because it says vegan actually in its definition doesn't even really speak to food. It's a lifestyle of trying to ensure that we are being mindful and bringing the least or no harm to all living beings. So it's a lifestyle of compassion that speaks to food, whether it's you go vegan for food, for the environment, or for the animals, or all of the above, and of course for your health as well. And so you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question just about people talking about being able to cook the nutrients out of food. That's a thing.
That is a thing. So when you talk about the highest quality or the most dense amount of nutrients in your food, food that's not heated beyond, I think it's like 103 degrees or something of that sort, is more ideal. It's like the raw food category. Right. I don't like to say that because it's a raw food. I'm not eating. Right. But the reality is live foods, which is probably a better term, is when you have the highest density of nutrients because you're not cooking it out. The heat tends to break that down or to destroy much of it. Right. And so you want to be mindful of that. But live food may, again, seem daunting, but when you are just thinking about, for example, a smoothie, that's a live food option, a salad, and when I was growing up, Dale, I don't know about you, but salad was lettuce and tomatoes. But no, exactly.
Iceberg lettuce.
Exactly. The least nutrition, that has the least nutrition, right? But for me, salad meals is one of my most favorite things to eat because you can combine so many different things to make a full meal to ensure that it gives you the nutrition, it's filling, as well as it's dense in nutrients as well. So you can layer it with legumes. Whether you add some lentils, you can add quinoa, you can add nuts, you can add multiple things to build it out so that it is actually a full meal, right? Just in terms of live foods, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get back to plant-based meats and soy in a bit. But Dale, tell us your story. Tell us about your journey.
Okay, so there are 2 perspectives I can speak from. Firstly, as transitioning to vegan, I was vegan for about 10 years, and then I transitioned back to meat because, like you, I lost a lot of weight. I'm very slim, and so it's really important for us to remember that our environment will eat our goals for breakfast. If you just look at all of the things that people are saying are right for you, you just try to go towards this. I'm going to eat all the vegetables, all the fruits. but that's not right for your individual body. So you have to stock up on certain things. So I didn't know that going in. And so I transitioned back because I didn't want to be too skinny, right? But it did help to reverse PCOS for me. So
PCOS.
Yes, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Okay.
which plagues a lot of Black women.
Mhm. That's what Dr. Booker was referring to.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So it reversed it for me. I was able to have children, and just by changing my lifestyle to vegan. But I added meat again because I didn't want to be too skinny. You know, pop culture says you should have a little something. But whatever it is, I just decided to add a little bit more carbs to my diet, more meat to my diet. But now, after having met Rhonda and doing a lot of research, I realized that you can still maintain the weight by having healthy carbs that are plant-based and proteins that are plant-based. So I encourage everyone to, first of all, know what's right for you. So it goes back to finding your real reason. First of all, knowing what your goals are, and then finding your real reason. So if your reason is, I just want to lose weight, I just don't want to eat a lot of meat. But what's the real reason? It's because
What's your why?
Exactly. So we think that we're multi-dimensional beings, so we're just mind and body. So I'm just going to hijack my mind to do what I want. And that's not how it works, because you already have a programming that says, I like meat, I like to enjoy this, I like to do that, I like to lay down afterwards. So you have to get to the root of what is there already in my mind. You can't go on your computer and say, I want you to do something different. You have to erase the old programming and put in a new programming. So you generally have to figure out what's my real reason. So for me, my real reason is I have 2 kids I want to be around and healthy to really be a part of their life and actively not be 50-something and I go on a cruise and they have to push me in a wheelchair at 16. I want to actively enjoy my life. So with that as my why, I then begin to address what are the things that have stopped me from being able to do that? Well, my food choices, number one. And then, so how can I change that? So I stopped leaving the ice cream and the chips in the house. I don't buy them at the food store. So I put them not in my cart because I know that's going to cause me to go towards that and break my goals. I need to drink more water. So what are the things that I'm going to put in place to solidify that habit? I'm going to fill my water bottle in the morning with about a pint of water. And when I wake up and brush teeth, I'm going to drink that water right away. So it's just for me, and from a mindfulness perspective, it's just looking at your individual goals and then understanding what my real reason is. Now that I'm connecting to a real reason, then I'm going to look at all of the things that are in my old programming, what's been stopping me from actually achieving that. And I'm going to change those things so that they fit the goal that I want to actually have.
Wow. Okay.
And that's why I asked you before we got on air, Dwight, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? You know, and that goes back to a very important point that Dale just made, because you really want to start with, why am I doing this? Why is this important? Because that is going to undergird those days when you don't feel like it, when you fall off and you need to jump back on the bandwagon, which happens. That's a part of the journey. And then you move into the what and the how. So understanding why is this important to me, and then moving into doing some research, learning the basics, joining a community of people who will be able to help you, to support you, to answer questions, understanding the basics, of where do I begin to do this, and experimenting. You're going to go through ups and downs. I've been in, plant-based for over 20 years, and my journey has morphed many times over from what I did at the beginning, which was soy and all of the meat alternatives was a main part of my transition. As I got more into the lifestyle, though, I understood that it's fine as just that, a transition. It's ideal to not stay there and consume those as your regular everyday plant or protein sources. The understanding why you want it, you want that, the texture, and you want that meaty. So as you move in your journey, it's fine, every once in a while, because no matter what, vegan or not, it's processed, right? And so you want to keep to a minimum as much as possible those processed foods and that have other things, additives, etc. inside of it, even though it's a healthier version. But you want to continue to learn what are those other plant-based foods out there that I can enjoy that will give me the same texture or taste that I'm missing, or that I, as Dale said, that's going to give me what it is that I'm missing, until my body, which is also important, adjusts, because your body is going to crave ultimately what's inside of it.
Right.
And so as you begin to consume higher levels of other foods, and your body begins kind of to pass out. That's unless you're continuing to add those as well. But as you add more, and you can start there, add more, even before you focus on eliminating.
Mm-hmm.
Add more water, add more greens, add more colors on your plate, in your cart, etc. And then you can begin to swap out. What are those alternatives that I can now incorporate, whether it's the alternative that I can use for the meat. I like to say mushrooms are the new meat, because for me, as at this stage in my journey, and I always recommend that for people, to incorporate that as one of those things that you can use in place, quote unquote, in place of meat. Legumes, also because it's heavier, very versatile, and it gives you a more filling feeling as well.
And
so
people
those are
are
just
doing
some
some wild things with cauliflower.
Yeah, I know, right?
I tried barbecue cauliflower for the first time on Thanksgiving. I mean, it wasn't ham, but it was okay. It was okay.
And I'll never tell you that meat doesn't taste. You'll never hear it come out of my mouth that animal-based foods don't taste good. They absolutely do. So again, that's not going to be the reason that you're going to make the switch. So what is your why? It won't be taste, right? There's some other things that's going to be the driving factor.
You can find some dope Brussels sprout recipes.
One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
I love
Absolutely.
Brussels sprouts. People be walking past Brussels sprouts, but don't walk.
No,
past
they're
them.
very,
They got you that
very
good crunch.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, so I guess Dr. Booker, you can chime in here. So let's get to the bottom of soy. Is it something, especially for men? Should men avoid it? I know I did some research on it, and it seems like we've turned the tide a bit on it, and that it's okay-ish in moderation, I guess. But what do we need to know about soy, especially men?
Hillary, you have any thoughts on that?
I think Hillary just.
Did we lose her?
She did. You know what?
She had to jump.
That is
Oh, boy.
right. She
Okay.
did say.
She-
Well, I can just speak generally to that. So in the beginning of my journey, and soy has always been very controversial, because it's one of those things that you will find both sides of the divide. It's good for you. It's not good for you. So I started off there, but after again researching more, I stopped consuming it and buying it for my family, because I just again wanted to err on the side of caution, because there was so much that was saying that you should not consume it.
Right.
In recent years, research is now indicating, and I've looked at it more from a female perspective, but I'm sure that the benefits are similar for male, and that is that, again, non-GMO organic soy is seen to, because of the phytoestrogen, which is not as toxic or detrimental and easier for the body to break down than estrogen, which you can get externally from sources, whether it's products, cleaning products, and other things, which is toxic, can lend itself to creating that imbalance in the hormones. However, the soy is seen to have positive effects on women when it comes to potentially preventing cancer, as well as also offsetting the symptoms of PMS and other female issues that we may have. And so it is now trending toward being something that you can incorporate, and you're encouraged to incorporate, again, non-GMO organic soy in your food lifestyle.
It's in everything. Soy is everywhere.
Yeah, well, again, you kind of want to become a mini detective. You don't want to over obsess about it and beat yourself up about it, but you want to have some general knowledge. I very rarely, or let me say it the other way, when I go into the store, I am always reading labels. I don't, if it's something I'm not familiar with, I don't buy it unless I turn that around and I read what's in it. Right, that's important to have, and if I can't pronounce it or the label, you have 500 things in there, or, 9 times out of 10, I put it down, because right off the bat, I know. And then you want to see what are the first few things that they are listing. That is what has the highest quantity. And so you want to, just become familiar with, again, go to the basics. And the more that you read and learn, but it is important, without being overwhelmed or confusing yourself, and you can be guided to the sources that can help you with that. it's only in your benefit.
Yeah. So the same thing with tofu, right? Which is
Because it is a soy base, yeah. Tempeh, in terms of which one I think, and again, is one of the better options. Harder to find here now, but tempeh, Fresh Market has it from time to time. You just have to ask for it. But I have in recent times started buying tofu again, and I want to keep stressing that, non-GMO and organic option, yeah.
Making your own tofu is easy but annoying.
I've actually never tried because I don't want it that. But the process is pretty tedious. But yes, it absolutely can be done.
Making your own, as opposed to buying the tofu and cooking it the way you want.
Buying the bean. You have to
you just grind up a legume, basically
the soy,
and then in water and you strain it. It's a really tedious process.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Miso, MISO, is another form. It's a fermented form, and there are others as well. But that's another one that I like that you can find in the food store. Easy to incorporate. It's a paste, really, but it's almost like a salt substitute because it or a what do you call the squares, the cubes, the bouillon cubes, right? That's an alternative to that, if you will. So you can add it to soups, you can use it to make sauces, to make dressings, and fermented foods is something that the gut really likes, and so because of the and so you want to incorporate that as much as possible because of the probiotics, etc., that the body needs, that the gut needs to balance out the good and quote unquote versus bad bacteria.
All right, so we're getting a few messages here. Someone says, I really want to become a vegan. How do I start? That's my struggle, starting and knowing what to eat and where to buy vegan food from. Help me.
Well, I want to encourage you because you said where to buy vegan food from. Again, it's for convenience and just to try it, to get it in. No problem with the buying, but fall in love with your kitchen because that's where you're going to really and truly be able to explore and expand on what it is that you're eating in terms of plant-based or vegan foods. I would encourage you to, again, go back to the basics. Start with adding even before you consider eliminating. So drink more water, eat 2+ servings of fruit. Same with vegetables. Increase your dark leafy green intake. Start replacing some of those things that you normally eat with plant-based options. So if you want it, for example, if you're making spaghetti with ground turkey or whatever, maybe you want to switch to lentils as an option or mushrooms as an option. Maybe you want to switch from the dairy to a plant-based milk, almond milk, or those kinds of things. So those are just some of the simple, basic things that you can do to begin to make that transition. Also, be open-minded. If there are fruits and vegetables that you haven't tried, again, go to the Rainbow. The Rainbow is a beautiful guide. Try to see if every week, set a little goal for yourself. Well, I'm going to have 6 colors this week, and then seek out those foods out there that meet that. You have your purple and your blues, your red and your orange, your yellows, your greens. And so all of these colors represent a different nutrient, and it's also having a different positive effect on the body. So again, without getting overwhelmed or over obsessing, start with the Rainbow to try and get in the nutrients that you need. Look for recipes. There's a trillion out there. Find what you like. I would say if you, again, keep it simple. One recipe a week, maybe, that you want to experiment and find just a few key 2 or 3 staples that become your go-to so that in a pinch, you're not trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do. I think Dale wanted to jump in on that.
Yeah, I wanted to interject to that person that sometimes we think that Rome is built in a day, so we have to jump right in, we can be a vegan next week. So the mind works that if you give it like small accomplishments over time, that accomplishment then gives you more motivation. Yep. So if you say, my goal this week is I'm going to add water every single morning, 2 pints of water, I'm going to reach my goal. And you've reached that goal for that week. Next week, I'm going to have 1 salad per day, and my salad is going to have the Rainbow in it. So for lunchtime, I'm going to pack my salad the night before, I'm going to have salad, or I'm going to have salad at night. And then for the whole week or 2 weeks, just consistently salad. And you're like, okay, so I have water, I have salad. Now I can add 2 vegan meals per week. And then you work your way up to it, and you're telling your mind, I can do this. And it becomes easier because now you transitioned your lifestyle over time to fit into whatever your goals are.
Now, the one thing that people always say is the cost, how this is expensive, especially here in the Bahamas.
Nuts.
Let's talk about that.
I love to talk about this because that too is, so let me first say, of course, the cost of living is high, full stop. We know that, right? However, when you think about spending the same money, again, if you are one who wants to leave out certain things off of your plate, and so when you use the same funds that you used for that, and you switch that over to purchase some beans or some plant-based options, you're actually not spending more. You're using the same money. That's number one. And number two, again, go to the research. You can find that it is said that you can save maybe about $700+ per year on a plant-based food lifestyle when you're focusing on whole food. Let's make sure that we understand what we're doing,
and this
right?
counts in the Bahamas too?
Of course, we don't have specific science in the Bahamas, right? But again, based on programs that I've done with persons over the last year plus, they've all, for the most part, they've all said the same thing. It's actually less expensive, they've said, or it's not nearly as expensive as they thought it was going to be. And why is that? Again, if you are focusing on whole foods, fresh foods, local foods in some cases, seasonal foods, the mix of that tends to be less expensive, definitely, whether it's vegan or not, than the packaged foods. And when you're eating out or fast foods. I love to give the example a couple months ago, quite some time ago. So I would have purchased some fries from one of the local places. That's the only thing we can eat, and we only go to one particular one. But nonetheless, when we went there, I got 4 fries. My kids were with me. That was $13 for 4 fries. That's not the combo, which is like $10 for one. So for that was about $13, $14. And I hadn't been in a long while, right? So I was so annoyed because I'm like, first of all, it's only one fry. Second of all, ain't no nutrition in this. And third of all, I'm going to be hungry in a minute, right? Because that's in and out of my body. It's, And so I said, you know what I could buy for this? This long post that I posted on social media about it months later. And you can literally take that $13 and I could buy lentils, I could buy quinoa, I can buy a vegetable or two, and I can make a meal that will last a day and a half for my family of 6. Yeah. And I'm also getting nutrients at the same time, right? And so it has a healthier impact, a more beneficial impact on the body. And so again, when we are shifting our mindset back to Dale's area of expertise and really opening our minds and being open-minded to making changes, to learning new and different ways of doing things, you'll be amazed at at what you can find that is within your budget. I'm not saying that all of a sudden, you can buy, $500 worth or $200 worth of fruits versus what you could get for the meat. But at the end of the day, it is not as expensive as people think vis-a-vis what they are currently doing. Again, you know what I'm saying?
As you mentioned, I find that the plant-based meats, that's where the money
goes. That is very expensive.
Very expensive.
Beyond me.
Very expensive. And then you also want to go, again, I know we go to the mainstream food stores, but be open with shopping at some of the smaller stores as well, the farmers markets. Again, you want to change behavior, change habits as you're making these shifts and changes, and that's going to help in the overall way that you approach it and be a little lighter on the pocket.
I got to ask Dale quickly, how do you change the reaction from the body when you pass like Bamboo Shack or or somebody cooking a steak and your brain is just like, I need that right now?
Yeah, because the pattern just hasn't been overwritten yet. So you have to just continuously enforce that, the craving is there, but you're going to make another decision. Because when you make constant decisions, then these synapses fire together to say, when we pass Bamboo Shack and we're tempted, we keep driving, and then after a while you just really do not crave it anymore.
And it doesn't take that long though.
It really doesn't.
It's only a few weeks.
Exactly.
It feels like.
The thought of it is making me want to cry.
The only time that I actually have a craving for a fast food like that is if I have had a terrible day.
And again, you know why? Because we're often emotionally driven for the choices that we make.
And there's a connection in the brain.
Exactly. That's what you're used to.
Fill up with this.
You need comfort, you need a release, and that's what you may have done in the past. And so you naturally gravitate toward that until you fill that with something else, right? Until you break that pattern. But that's natural. But that is why, again, going back.
Like that?
You know why.
Going back to your why, because not that sometimes you may not falter, and even if you do, don't beat up on yourself, be gentle with yourself. It is a journey. That's as Dale said, it takes time to make those changes. But at the end of the day, when you are really clear on why you want to do this, you will seek to be more conscious and intentional about the decisions and the choices that you make.
And can you tie that to something else? Like, how are you with spending money? Can you say that you're going to make it a budgetary goal, then that you're only going to spend money on Bamboo Shack once a month.
Right.
So then you really cut down the craving altogether because you're tying it to something else.
All right, we're running out of time, but I just want to ask you really quickly. You mentioned the limitations you have going to fast food restaurants here. Some of them are incorporating plant-based meats. Do you even once in a while, or what do you recommend what do you say about those?
In terms of eating out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or ordering something, but just taking off the meat.
So of course, as a part of the transition, the social challenges can be very difficult for people. The beautiful thing is there are so many restaurants out there. I'm very happy that I've seen the massive shift and inclusion of some actual vegan or vegetarian options on the menus. And so look for that. They usually identify them. That's number one. Or most restaurants are very flexible and are willing to swap out or prepare a vegetarian or vegan plate for you. So don't be embarrassed or afraid to ask.
Yeah.
But are they cooking your vegetarian stuff in the meat oil?
You never know. The truth is, you don't know. You can ask. If you can ask. You don't know. I always say, whenever I'm eating outside of my home, nothing is guaranteed.
That's true.
No, and that is because you don't know what they're doing to the meat eater. To tell you the truth, the point is, you just never know, and so you have to understand that and just ask the questions based on what's important.
That was just a shot at the restaurants to be aware of these things.
Yeah.
Please,
That is true.
Please, people.
Yeah. All right, so I wish we had more time. We have to do this again. Rhonda Wright and Dale Marshall, nice meeting you. Dr. Hillary Booker was with us earlier. Great conversation. Lots of interest. Lots of people have questions. So the tide is changing, shifting here a bit, quite a bit, and more options every year we see. But thank you. Thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate
Thank you for having us.
All right, we're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
It's been 35 years since Custom Computers was founded, and we'd like to celebrate that milestone by thanking you, our clients and customers. You've inspired 35 years of expert service and support, partnering with the world's leading brands like HP, Apple, and Microsoft. We take pride in setting the bar for what you expect and deserve from a homegrown Bahamian business. We're here to serve you when you need us, so call 396-1101. Custom Computers, raising the standard since 1987.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
We are back here with Morning Gun Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And this morning we're getting a preview of a special event that's taking place this week, a compilation of short films, One Experience, 5 short films, written and directed by Dario Erics Poitier. He's with us in studio this morning, along with Armand Williams. Gentlemen, great to have you with us. Welcome.
Morning.
All right, Dario, good to see you again. All right, so tell us about this. All 5?
Yes,
written and directed by you.
Yes, sir.
Well, you've been very busy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about it. How did this come about?
Well, I wrote these during the lockdown, during the pandemic. You know, we wasn't doing anything, so I just grabbed my phone and just started to, tell some stories. A lot is going on in our country, and a lot is going on in the world.
That is
so
true.
I just wanted to really shed some light on that. We couldn't do it during the pandemic because of the lockdown, because like everyone was drawn to the TV, everyone was, looking for stuff to watch. So I really wanted to put it on then. So I had to wait until things kind of, cool down a little bit. So during the summer months, we all got together and we shot them, and here we are. We're about to debut this coming weekend at the Atlantis.
Wow. Okay, 5. How long are each one? They're all short films. How long?
Well, they range from about 8 minutes to about 22 minutes. It's a combined screening time of 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
So the audience will actually feel like they're watching a full-length movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so any recurrent or common theme through all, or are they all 5 very different movies?
Yeah, they're all 5 different, acted by the same actors, but they're playing different roles. So you actually get to see their range in acting. They're not just fixed to one type of character. They can play different roles. The name of the films are Battered, Shattered, Shall We, Delayed,
and Dark Cloud.
So some of them are pretty much self-explanatory. You'll have an idea as to what is going on in them.
So all of them have pretty much the same actors?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
So Armand is one of the big stars.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I am but 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us about your characters. Which ones are you in?
Well, I was in, I think it was...
You're in Delayed
and Dark Cloud. So I play a major role in Delayed. That one is more like, per se, the people who's going through the pandemic at the time, where the character is portrayed as someone who's really going to commit some serious stuff, you know what I mean? And he needs someone there to, coach him in the right direction. And then through you're mostly on an emotional roller coaster on his intents of what he intend to do as he get through this COVID time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other one, you said Dark Cloud?
Yeah, that was Dark Cloud. The trade is actually an island trip.
Okay.
So that's more of the Caribbean feeling, and so you got to see us on the seas. You got to see some parts of the island in a different aspect too. So that one is really, really nice.
Yeah, because we actually shot that one on a private island. We took a boat and we charted,
very fancy.
So we put some work into that one.
Yeah. So what was it like? Is it your first time acting? or
Not really the first time. I've been with Dio for a while. We've been together off and on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With it being said, when he came to me with the project, I was like, okay, I'm on board. Because like you say, through the COVID, everyone was just relaxing.
Yeah.
So it was that time to get back in motion and, get things back started again. So it was very exciting, and I was really excited to help him out.
All right, we've got another one of the cast members here with us. Introduce yourself first, please, sir.
Yeah, this is Franz Ferguson, and I'm one of the best actors in the Bahamas. And,
Okay.
and I put out that Dario was me 3.5 million, not 3.5 million. Yeah, 3.5 million.
At least
we get
3.5.
that soon. So we get the Emmy. We get and credit on IMDb. But seriously, my name is Franz Ferguson, and I'm part of the cast. Favorite Dario from day one.
Yeah,
when I was introduced to Dario, he looked at me like this, like, Got the boom there, but he's like, oh yeah, his favorite word is excellent. So excellent. He's like, yeah, it's good.
Excellent.
So we and Dario was together from the last movie, Ungrateful, that we did in the past. Also with Ahmad, I work with Ahmad, tremendous actor. I gotta give him credit.
Yeah, I from France too.
Yeah, and I have like it's 5 short films. I'm and presently in 4 of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm best actor.
Let's keep it on that.
Yeah, I'm in 4 of them, and it was a tremendous journey we were on. Even from Ungrateful, the fact that I met Dario, I met Ahmad, it was like it was no issue, it was no drama. We're growing and we know what to do. We know whatever Dario gave us access to do, what was expected, we did. And basically we were on the same page, and I saw his vision, and him having a mod on the same tape. I saw that vision and I just jumped on and we were
make it happen.
Make it happen. Another thing, what I was looking at is like how we have athletes that was recognized, behaving athletes from Michael Thompson time, Clay Thompson, his son Buddy Hield, and the Bahamas was on the map even with our running athletes, Santa Stuff and everybody who want to go to Golden Girls. And now we're taking this to a different level. We're not just on the map. We want to keep Bahamas on the map in all aspects. That's basically what it is. And also with these short films is a message that we're sending out. That's why we want to encourage everybody to come out and watch. Sometimes nobody say it's about the money. It's not really about the money. So we're sharing our views and life itself. A lot of people go through things. You may be sitting next to somebody who just lost their mom or somebody who going through some abusive relationship. Yeah. But our show is to send a message so you could basically understand how life's supposed to be, you know what I mean? With the faith of God, definitely with that. So, our message is just to spread joy. It's an emotional roller coaster. You're going to be upset at one point, you might be angry, then you're going to be happy, you're going to laugh. So, we bring in it all. We singing, we bring in.
Oh, wow. You got it. So, which ones are you in? Which four are you in?
I'm in Dark Cloud. I'm in Shall We? Battered. And the other one is, what's the other one again? Yeah, but it's four.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those.
So you're in the trailer, your big hand around a little neck.
Yes,
That's battered, I'm sure.
Yes. Beating these gals. Beating gals, mate. That's not me though.
That's a character.
That's a character.
Right.
So when I walk out that place, do not gang me, do not hurt me, ladies, please. It's only movie. Grandmothers with their purse is not me.
Wow. All right, so this is going to be this weekend. Tell us about it, how we can see this, what do we need to do to be a part of this?
It's going to be this weekend, Friday, December 2nd, and Saturday, December 3rd at the Atlantis. Doors open at 6, and showtime start probably at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, not Bahamian time. And then we're actually screening again on the 30th of December in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, so we're taking it there. Tickets can be purchased at Montgomery Fashion, that's on Carmichael Road, opposite Scotiabank, and also at All Season Bookstore, that's in the Palmdale Shopping Plaza.
And all cast members.
Yeah, all cast members. Okay. They can reach us at 436-6405 if they need
Take $1,
right? Yeah, we can work that out too.
And how much are tickets?
Tickets are $40 in advance and $45 at the door.
Yeah. So you've been with us a few times. What is the response like? Are Bahamians receptive to what you're doing and to other Bahamians who are producing films right now?
I would say slowly. It's not where it needs to be, and in order for us to really get out there, we have to be consistent, and which we're trying to do, or we are doing, and we just need the wider public to really support us. We need the government and private sector to really buy into us, because it takes a lot to put on a show, and especially if you want to put something on that competes on the international, we don't want to do it if it's small scale or if it's not professional.
Right.
Excellence is key.
Yeah. All right. So explain that. The government and the private sector to assist. What do you need from the government?
It's really hard to get sponsors. And by saying sponsors, I want to just take this time to thank Tropical Gyros. They were the only person that really saw the vision and they came on board. So we reached out to a lot of people, but we didn't get. If I could call this project anything, I would call this the No Project. That's how many no's that I got.
My goodness.
And this is the first time that I've acted in the capacity as the cinematographer and the editor. Never done that before, but I had to get it done. Because I reached out. I didn't want it to just be about me or us. We actually reached out to a lot of other persons in the field to, kind of bring whatever it is that they do. Yeah, network, but we didn't get a positive response.
Wow.
So here we are.
Well, why do you think that
Make it happen?
I don't know. I guess it's a culture that we have to change. We got to change. We got to support our own. And we had this conversation just a few days ago in Africa and Nollywood, Nigeria. They support their own. In India, Bollywood, they support their own. In the US, Hollywood, they support their own. So but in the Bahamas, it's like, okay, I'm not going to help him because I'm not going to help him get famous or get rich. So
do you think that's what it is?
It's some of that. And it's one of those things I think I need to write on, like how I wrote on these short films. It's subjects that we sweep underneath the mat.
Maybe they should.
And I think I do have one like that. Is one that we spoke about. I forget the name of that one. Yeah. So that's coming as well.
So are we going to be looking at comedy, drama?
It's everything in one. Everything in one. Like we said, we're going to take you on a ride, a roller coaster ride. You're going to be laughing, crying, even dancing. And we're featuring some Bahamian music in there as well. So I want to say thank you to Chris Carey and Nakaz. That's the guy who sings I'm a Bahamian. So we're going to be featuring some of their music in the short films as well.
Do you find it difficult to introduce serious themes here? I mean, and give it to a local audience? Is it just like, because I know you, have seen you before, can I pay attention to this serious theme? You know what I mean?
For me, I guess it's easy because writing is what I do.
Right.
Like literally, I can sit here and write a whole movie within a matter of hours. And so you have to have that gift. And for me, I can take any topic and just add some humor to it, and in a sense, even preach to you, and you don't even know that you're being preached to.
Okay.
So you have to have that gift.
Right.
But sometimes the audience will laugh at the serious stuff, though.
Yes, definitely.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
But that's another show.
Get on
That's another show.
Let's get on that.
The question you asked just now, like I don't know. I know most of us, when you grow up, you grow up around certain things,
Right. Yeah.
even if it's positive or negative. And when we came out the arc, it's like it's easy because these things we've seen around, no matter what role we play.
Yeah.
And bringing it to the screen, I'm sure we'll have probably 70-80% of the people who've been through what they're saying. So this is where it's easy to attach, but it's just getting them there is what it is. But having them sit down and watch, they're gonna at least, even if they say, "Oh, it's boring," they're like, "Oh, yeah, this happened," then they'll automatically get attentive. Just a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, he never thought he would have ever been find this exciting watching Bahamian, whether it's stage play or a movie. And he came to I was on stage play a few years back, and he was like, he enjoyed it to the full. And there's somebody who you would think like, well, you would never see him sitting in the stage, sitting in the crowd. And he ever since then he came to everything. And he said, "You have tickets?" And he want to fight. Tickets, calm down, bro. Right. Yeah, we had men. I mean, they thugs. Like I know what you're saying. Like they understand. They've been through it, and then a lot of people wouldn't say until they see. That's why I say it's a message that we're sending. You know what I mean? When you might leave out there and say, "More, I gotta talk to somebody," or based on the situation I'm going from what I watch, or you can learn. You learn from what you're saying.
Right.
Because our message is there. We giving it. We're not just doing this just to say we're acting or trying to make it far, or we want to, but it's not just that.
Yeah.
It's a message that we're trying to give to the Bahamas, and then anybody outside the Bahamas will definitely understand and feel what we're giving. So we bringing it.
Excellent. All right, we got 30 seconds. So one more time, tell us the dates and where to get tickets from, what we need to do to be a part of these 5 short films.
Okay, it goes up this coming Friday, December 2nd, and Saturday, December 3rd at the Atlantis Theater. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show time is 7 p.m. sharp. Also, we'll be screening in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera on the 30th of December. Tickets can be purchased at Moncur Fashion. That's on Carmichael Road, opposite Scotiabank. And for you ladies out there, you can, check the store out and find something to wear. And also at All Season. That's All Season Bookstore. That's in the Palmdale Shopping Plaza. And they can reach us at 436-6405. Any of the cast members, we'll be proud to deliver the tickets to you.
Right away.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of good seats in there, right?
Yes.
So it should be a good crowd in there. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all so much for being here with us this morning. Dario Erics Poitier and Armand Williams and Franz Ferguson. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And keep up the great work. Keep us posted.
Thank you.
How things are going. So thank you. That is it for us, Chester Robards. You got some days off now, finally.
Finally. Oh, man.
All right. That's it. Again, Morning Blend Business brought to you in part by Seafowl, growing wealth for future generations. Pick up today's Guardian Business section for the latest in business news. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend Business and Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Wake up, it's a new day.